Hello everyone, I'm Axis Horizon and I work in product R&D. Today I want to talk about a question many audiophiles have asked. Why did Soundaware choose to develop on the X86 platform? What's the significance of using X86? Why do you call it AMC? To be honest, when it comes to streaming, the most important thing is to follow the content source. Think about how people are using streamers and network players. Nowadays, almost all the music content is locked within various apps. Whether it's QQ Music or Apple Music in China, or Qobuz, Tidal, Spotify, or Amazon Music internationally, most people are relying on these apps. And in terms of platforms that can actually support all of them, well, you're left with only two real options, Android or Windows. That's the reality. No other platform offers full compatibility with this wide of a music ecosystem, especially with native app playback. That's the first issue. The second need comes from more experienced users, those who own high-quality offline music, whether it's ripped DST files or ISO files from physical disks. These users care deeply about offline playback and may have massive local music libraries, including purchased content from Sony Music or similar sources. For them, offline performance must be top tier. So, once we identify these two core needs, streaming and offline, we already saw back in 2016, after developing the D300 REF, that the future of high-end playback would rely on combining both local and online content into a unified reference-level solution. If you're serious about your DAC and your sound system, this is the path. We evaluated Android and Windows at the time, and ultimately we chose Windows on x86 for our high-end products. Why? Android is fine for simpler use case it handles, streaming playback decently now, but early on, SRC issues were severe and performance limitations due to ARM CPUs were very noticeable. Even today, Arkansas M chips still fall short in processing power compared to x86. Things like upsampling can be a struggle, and the expandability of ARM-based platforms is still limited. I'm not talking about Snapdragon-based phones here. I'm talking about ARM platforms used in industrial devices like Allwinner or Rockchip. Even older platforms like Samsung's ARM11 were similarly restricted. These SoCs were never designed for heavy-duty, high-performance audio processing, and the interface limitations are very real: fewer ports, limited storage options, and constrained CPU capabilities. Not to mention, Android itself still has quirks. For instance, some apps require vertical orientation, and others don't support rotation. Take QQ Music on Android, for example, as native output won't even rotate to landscape mode, which creates a poor user experience. It's not that Android is bad, it's great for easy, casual use, but it was never originally designed for professional music playback. On the other hand, Windows on x86 is the backbone of most modern music production. Yes, some studios use macOS, but macOS is a closed platform and third-party developers have very limited access. That's why we didn't even consider it. The point is, most professional audio recording and editing today still happens on Windows with x86 hardware. And this platform has benefited from decades of evolution with deep software ecosystems and a huge base of professional tools. I remember back when I was in college over 20 years ago, I was already playing around with PC-based hi-fi using advanced software high-end music players that already delivered excellent performance. That ecosystem has only grown since then. Today, Windows supports a massive range of audio software, JRiver, JPlay, Bughead, Foobar, Roon, you name it. It supports both offline and online playback extremely well, and it offers native exclusive output via both ASIO and Wasapi, which is critical for high-quality audio. Compared to that, Android or any other platform simply can't compete in terms of software richness and audio performance. Some people might say, what about Linux? Sure, Linux can work. You don't need drivers, and it can sound great. But the moment you try to install apps, it becomes much more complicated. It's not user-friendly. Most people know how to use Windows, but with Linux, every distribution is different, Ubuntu, Red Hat, etc., and you have to learn them all. So that's why Soundaware insists on building its high-end AMC platform on X86 with Windows at the core. The goal is to deliver both exceptional sound and a truly open, capable software environment. That's why we have so many high-end users choosing our AMC platform. It's powerful, flexible, and audiophile grade. That said, I want to clarify something important. Take our D1X for example. While it's based on the X86, it's not locked into using Soundaware SaaS or Windows. We're also open to collaborating with third parties like Directa, and many of our users are experimenting with Gen 2 Player or Audio Linux. And yes, those platforms can work too. We even help test some of them. For example, we've tested Directa thoroughly, and users can use it with no problem. But for other systems, we ask users to explore on their own. If you don't have the technical knowledge, just stick with OSIT solid, stable, and optimized. And don't worry, D1X Standard Edition is fully open. You're not voiding your warranty just by installing a different OS. We support hardware warranty regardless of your software choices. So feel free to explore. That's why we remain committed to X86 and this ecosystem, because for reference-grade audio, we believe this is the best possible solution. Thank you all for listening.